Hi, folks. Hope everybody's okay. I just feel the need to speak out against war with Russia. Uh, yeah, I am a preacher, I am a minister of the gospel, but sometimes when evil reigns, if good men keep quiet, then evil will continue to reign. And sometimes we have to speak out, and I'm speaking out against war with Russia. Um, let's just hear a little bit of some social media pundits and see what they have to say. And we will.
Where did Walton Goggins goggle glasses? I knew.
John Rentoul. Good morning, John, and happy Friday.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for that introduction.
It's a pleasure. An unhappy Friday for the Chancellor Rachel Reeves. The economy contracted in October, minus 0.1%. It's not a recession, but it's not a headline she wants.
It's not. It's right. She ought to be cutting. She ought to be.
Let them.
On the doctors to vote to call off this strike next week. I mean, it does sound like the absolutely worst idea to go on strike in the.
We'll just do this one.
If you need full dentures but can't deal with the endless expensive dentist visits, you need to see this. I used to.
Deputy editor at Spiked Online, Fraser Miles. Good morning, Fraser.
Good morning, Mark. Great to be here.
What do you think has motivated this missive from Mark Rutte, the head of NATO, warning of an impending war with Russia?
Well, if I could be a little bit cynical, ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, there's been, correctly, I think, a discussion about needing to spend more on defence, needing more national preparations. But often what we find, the rhetoric never matches the reality. So we are spending a little bit more on defence collectively, but Keir Starmer wants to bring defence spending up to 3% of GDP by the end of the next parliament, a time when he's not even going to be prime minister. That doesn't suggest it's a particularly urgent matter in his view.
Yeah.
For Europe to defend itself, it needs industry. What are all European nations doing? They're sacrificing their industries at the altar of net zero.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wonders whether NATO, and it's collectively, but Keir Starmer wants to bring defence spending up to the reality. So we are.
So I want to just give my opinion on this issue of war with Russia. How did it start? It started with the FBI, CIA meddling in Ukraine and organizing a coup, and Europe organizing a coup to bring Ukraine into line with Europe. However, the history of Ukraine has a long history of being part of Russia, which is madness to try and bring it into Ukraine into NATO. So the European powers and America meddled in Ukrainian politics. When the coup happened and a new person was put in power, i.e. Zelensky, they then had about 3 to 5 years where they sent military operatives from NATO and America into Ukraine, training the Ukrainian army, preparing for war. So they were already preparing for war. On top of all this, Putin's thinking, I've got NATO now at my border, not far from me. So he is concerned. The Crimea has been lost, which was an important sea base for Russia. Okay. As this is all going on, you've got these globalists who have this lust for power to take over the world, and they see that the minerals within Russia, the 70 trillion worth of minerals, would be great for them. And so they wanted the downthrow of Russia. So they began to make Ukraine more pro-European to put pressure on Russia. Putin had no alternative but to invade the Donbass because many of them were Russian anyway. And he had no alternative but to take Crimea because that was always a Russian base anyway, naval base. And so then the war went on. And now we're talking millions of people have died in that war, a senseless war, a war that never had to be. Now, Donald Trump has got into power and he wants peace, and he's trying to get peace. But the European powers who bankrupt themselves in this war, they've basically bankrupt themselves. They're basically on their feet individually as nations because of mass immigration. They have no real industrial base. They are completely incompetent, and they lack any real plan, and they lack any real moral fiber. And so, because they don't want the American peace plan with Putin, who, by the way, this is also an ideological war where Putin and Trump believe in nation states, and Europe and the globalists believe in a conglomerate new world order that's all glued together and there's no nation states. So that's behind all this, what's going on. So because Europe and the globalists are actually lost the battle, they're morally bankrupt, they are economically bankrupt, they've got nothing anymore. So in order to save face, they want to go to war, and going to war with Russia means that your sons and daughters will be sent on a senseless killing field mission that will not achieve anything. The idea that Putin wants to invade Europe is nonsensical. There is no evidence, not a shred of evidence to show that whatsoever. So my point is this, is that we're living in a very crazy, evil time. The European powers and the elites are literally crazy. They are literally mad, and they are literally evil. And they have spent a decade taking away our free speech, a decade destroying our industrial bases, a decade of destroying nation states with mass immigration. And then they have the cheek, they want to turn around and send our sons and daughters into war. This is nonsense. This is the height of hypocrisy and the height of madness. The vast majority of young people in the UK do not want to fight and will not fight. The British Army, again, they're finding it hard to recruit people because of the disgrace of our own politicians that are duplicitous, who are involved in destroying Britain. So people in Britain are not particularly enthusiastic at going on some globalist crusade against Russia. But Europe, in order to save face, in order to keep the industrial complex going, the industrial war machine going, to keep the globalist shekels going, they want to go to war with Russia, which is mad because Russia's got nuclear weapons, Europe's got nuclear weapons, and is it going to turn out a good thing if nuclear weapons are going off? These politicians in Europe are absolutely pure evil. They're pure evil. They are absolute pure evil. So I'd encourage any British soldier to come out of the British Army right now. I would encourage any police officers to get out of the police right now. Do not support this regime, this globalist communist cabal that is in the British Parliament. You need to get out of Parliament. You need to get out of the British Army. Do not join the British Army at this present time, and do not get yourself conscripted. If they want to conscript you, do not go. Why should you go and fight when a lot of the people in Britain who are illegal immigrants, they won't be sent to fight? They won't go and fight. So why should you go and fight? Do not get involved. Come out of the British Army, come out of the police force, and if they conscript you, do not get involved. Be a conscientious objector. Do not get involved in this evil cabal, this evil, mad mindset of these global elites and these European politicians. And that's my view. And I had to say this because I think it's really important. All right. God bless you.